I did a video for smallballsuccess.com about a year and a half ago that I think was entitled "The Notorious Redemption of the Notorious Hitch" is what it was. And I guess I always kind of had a fond place in my heart for the hitch because I was a hitcher when I was a kid, but I was basically told to discard it. And in that particular video, I talked about how, you don't really need to do that. You just need to time the load appropriately. You don't need to wait too late. There were a few successful hitchers that we know of in the past. One guy was named George Herman Ruth. Another guy was Jimmy Foxx. Josh Gibson, the Negro League great. Hank Greenberg. I don't know how many guys at the turn of the century, 1900, Deadball Era, I don't know how many of them were doing that, but I do know that it was pretty routine, and we've been talking about this on this website a lot, that guys, even after World War II, of course, Greenberg would fit in there, they would use their top hand to pump the bat down, and the only reason you would do that would really be to sort of get your front side, your front leg lifted up so you could come down heavily on it. And why do you want to do that? Well, because you want to shift emphatically to the front and then hit off the front foot. You want to drive straight down into the ball and get some backspin. Greenberg was all about backspin. He was the one who taught Ralph Kiner how to hit home runs by putting backspin on the ball. I'm not too sure about Kiner's swing, but anyway, we're going to talk a little bit more. I don't know why I left this fella out of my discussion. This is Fred Stein's book about Mel Ott, and I probably left him out because I just don't know that much about him, but I'll show you a couple of photos here. Here you can see the famous Ott load, at least from the backside. You can tell how high his forward leg is lifting and how low his bat head is dropping. It was even more emphatic than that. And then a couple of pages earlier, now Stein says that Ott is posing for this photo. So we don't know if this is actually the result of an active swing, but you can tell that he's really up in his front leg and he's completely off the back foot. He's carrying down into the ball. Of course, he lifted a whole lot of homers into the right field stands of the Polo Grounds. He was, for a long time, the only guy in the National League to top 500 home runs. So he was a super hitter. I was also hit for a really high average and didn't strike out very much either. I'm really interested in how the old timers did that, and I just wanted in this video kind of reinforce some of my discussion about how you can hit off of your front foot if you don't load your hands too far back, if you follow the drop of the front foot quickly with your hands, and if you don't bring the hands too far up and too far back, you can lead with the hands and draw the barrel behind them, and you can get some good backspin on the ball. Interestingly, I like to hit this way right-handed more than left-handed. So I think there's something to that. I think this is more something that you want to do if your strong hand is on top of the bat. I don't really like so much to do this left-handed, but I found that the way that I most like to do this is what made me really think of Mel Ott, is that I'm kind of doing an Ott-like thing, dropping the barrel and lifting the forward leg stiffly. I'm going to try to demonstrate this live in a minute, but then the important thing is, again, don't let the hands ride way up and back when you come down. You're doing this before the pitcher releases the ball. You're actually balancing on one foot, and I'm sure this is what Ott did. That's why the barrel is so low, because it's like a tightrope walker. You can just balance this way for several seconds, and then when the pitcher comes forward, your front foot comes forward, your hands ride up a little bit, but certainly not very far back and not all that far up. The thing that's going up is the barrel. And then the foot drops and the hands follow it down, and the barrel comes down where you want it to be. I'm pretty darn sure that this is how Mel Ott had so much success. Oh yeah, I was going to mention one other guy that you might know a little better than those five. How about Ronald Acuna Jr.? A lot of commentators have marveled at the way that he holds his bat low and almost in the center of his body, and then he just sort of whiplashes it as he falls into the pitch. And this is, I doubt very much that he thinks of it this way or that he knows this, but this is very much what I'm going to try to do here in a minute. This is a very old school kind of style where you keep the hands low, you shift heavily to the front side with your hands following your shift closely, and you trail the bat head and just lower the boom on the pitch. Now, I don't bat right-handed very much, even though I'm right-hand dominant. I write and throw right-handed, but I don't hit this way very often. So this may be pretty ugly, but I'm going to try. And furthermore, unlike Ott and Ruth and all five of those guys, they were pull hitters. I'm not going to try to pull. I'm going to give myself a little more time and try to go that way. Well, let's see how bad this is. I think I've loaded up about 8 or 9. I'm going to be winded when this is over. Here we go. That was my best swing. There we go. Oh, I got out in front of it. That's terrible. You know what? I'm going to take a few more. My timing got all fouled up. I was right in the middle there. I was just starting to get my timing. I was relaxing a little more. You may have noticed on the first, I was just kind of shifting my feet around too much. You have to relax if you're going to do something like this. And then I'd really like to throw a little hip into it when I step forward. I just haven't done this enough. Now let me try a few more and see if I can look not quite so bad. That's too many. There we go. Oh, the light's messing me up. Oh boy. Getting some good hacks. Don't let the hands come up too high. There we go. I'm killing it now. I cheated. I started too early. Wait on it. Again, too early. Wait. That's better. Nope, wasn't ready. How about, let me see if I can do one more good one. Ah. Well, I don't have any more. I knew I'd get winded. I was doing a video just the other day about hitting machines, and my little green light there was, I don't know, kind of messing me up. So the thing is about using a timing mechanism where you have literally 1 foot on the ground. You're kind of bouncing on that tightrope, and you got to relax. You got to relax and you got to trust your hands. It seems like you need to start early, but you don't. Keep your hands forward. Keep your hands down. Your strong hand is on top, so all you need to do is kind of fall into the pitch, and the top hand is strong enough to drive the bat down and get you there in time. As modest as my success there was, I just haven't been practicing this much at all. So I think you could, your coaches wouldn't like it at first, but all you have to do is log some successes and then they'll shut up. If you like this, if you want to try it, it's actually an old school technique, and it has a lot of power. The thing about having your better hand on top, you might not make as much contact, but you can hit for more power. Those little drives, I can tell even with these tiny wiffle balls that I'm actually going to drive the ball farther than if I were batting left-handed. And I think the last thing is, because the weaker hand is on the bottom, one of the things that dropping the head of the bat makes me do is to get the handle in the knocker knuckles of the bottom hand. I want so much to just wrap that with and lock my thumb around it, but if I do that, I'm not going to have any flexibility in my wrist. So the deep drop of the barrel makes me put this into my knuckles so that I can lever the handle with that bottom hand the way that I do so easily and so naturally from the left side. That's the advantage of having the good hand on the bottom from over on the other side. Hey, try it. Maybe it'll work.